Moses Itauma versus Frank Sanchez has just been ordered by the IBF. This is for the title, my people. Wow. Wow. Moses Itauma, who's got a fight lined up against Filip Hrgović, has now been mandated by the IBF, ordered by the IBF for a title bout against Frank Sanchez. This news, I believe it broke like last night or something like that. So yeah, man, if Moses Itauma gets through Filip Hrgović, and that, you know, that's a competitive fight. I know a lot of people are dismissing Filip Hrgović. I mean, I'm not doing that. I'm not disrespecting Filip Hrgović. I believe he's a world-class fighter. He's going to go in that ring, yeah, and he's going to really test Moses Itauma. But some people are looking past him. I hope that's only the fans. I really hope that Moses Itauma and his team are not looking past Filip Hrgović, and they're taking the preparations and they're taking these fights very serious. Now, hypothetically, if he comes through Filip Hrgović, he will have the opportunity to fight for the IBF title and become a champion at the age of 21, which would be a fantastic achievement for the young Moses Itauma, because I believe this kid has all the attributes, man. He's got the skills to go all the way to the top, to unify the division, become undisputed like Alexander Usyk, yeah, and run boxing, you know, like dominate the heavyweight division for years to come. But we are talking about his opponent, Frank Sanchez, who is no slouch. Frank Sanchez, one of the best heavyweights out there. Cuban, very sleek, very high ring IQ. The guy can move, he's got punching power. Very, very good fighter that a lot of your favorite heavyweights have been avoiding for years. Like Frank Sanchez, he's no joke. He is no joke, and Moses Itauma will have to pull out all the tricks out of the bag to get a victory against Frank Sanchez, man. That's all I'm saying, man. Look at his resume, man. The guy's only defeat was against Agi Kabayel. That was his only defeat. And coming into that fight, there were reports that Frank Sanchez was nursing an injury. Now, I'm not making no excuses. He went in that ring. Once you go into that ring, there's no excuses, man. You know, if you're injured, pull out the fight. If you get into the ring, that means you're healthy enough to fight. But those were the rumors that were being reported, that apparently he had some knee injury, shoulder injury, whatever it was, and he didn't really perform to his utmost best. And me, as a Frank Sanchez fan, I've watched his fights and I really like his style. He didn't look like himself when he fought Agi Kabayel when he lost. Yeah, I'm not taking nothing away from Kabayel. Kabayel is a fantastic fighter. He deserves everything that he's got so far in his career. But Frank Sanchez did not look healthy when he fought Agi Kabayel. Yeah, against Moses Itauma, my God, what a fight that will be. But before we even get to Frank Sanchez, we already know, man, Itauma has a fight against Filip Hrgović. And I've seen online as well, a lot of boxing fans, you know, are dismissing Filip Hrgović, disrespecting Filip Hrgović, man. You know what I mean? I get what they're saying. Look, he's slow. He's a bit older now. He hasn't got the punching power. I get it. I get it. I get it. I understand it. I've studied Filip Hrgović. I know a lot of his weaknesses, but I wouldn't be looking past him. You know, that's a tough fight. Moses Itauma has never faced a fighter the caliber of a Filip Hrgović. And Filip Hrgović, especially early on, he could cause some problems. He could make life uncomfortable for the young Moses Itauma early on. And I'm predicting that fight to go a little bit deep in the mid-rounds, man. I'm talking the 5th to the 8th. You know, I don't see Moses Itauma going in there completely just obliterating Filip Hrgović. Even though I do worry about Filip Hrgovic's scar tissues, he does get cut up very easily. If you watch the fight against Dave Allen, I mean, Dave Allen barely scraped him and he was already cut up. Now, can you imagine the quick feet, the fast hands, and the power of Moses Itauma? You know what I mean? Touching up the face of Filip Hrgović, I mean, he's going to get cut up, you know, and it might be one of those situations where the referee calls in the doctor has a look at him and stops the fight due to cuts. So for Hrgović, man, he has to really have to be defensively, you know, sound against Moses Itauma, yeah, just to make sure that he doesn't get cut up early on and sway the referee and the ringside doctor to come in and stop the fight, you know. But I still believe that some of the questions that the boxing fans have for Itauma, like getting chin checked, getting taken into deep waters, getting outboxed, etc., etc., I believe some of those questions will be answered when he fights against Filip Hrgović. The real test here that I believe, like the one where it will make a man out of Moses Itauma, where he really has to pull all the tricks out of his bag, yeah, to get the win, for me, it will be Frank Sanchez. Frank Sanchez, for me, is that guy. I mean, Richard Torres, yeah, another prospect in the heavyweight division everyone was hyping up about. He went in the ring against Frank Sanchez. That was on the undercard of Usyk versus Rico at the pyramids of Giza in Egypt, yeah. He went in there, got a bit reckless, got a bit arrogant in there, got popped in the mouth, yeah, and he got dropped in the, got dropped in the second round, man. That was murder she wrote, got put to sleep, mate. You know, Frank Sanchez is one of those fighters that you really don't want to look past him. Like, do you know what I mean? Like it will be to your detriment. You know, you have to take him serious. He's, like I said, he's Cuban, slick boxer, all the way from the amateur days. The guy can box. And I truly believe that Frank Sanchez, yeah, he's a better boxer. He's got better boxing skills than Moses Itauma. Moses Itauma, for the first time, will be fighting someone who has superior boxing skills than him. Do you know what I mean? Like, so far, Itauma has faced, the fighters that he has all the advantages against. You know, if you go Dillian Whyte, Jermaine Franklin, even against Filip Hrgović, Itauma's going to have the hand speed, he's got the youth, he's got the quick feet, you know what I mean? He's got the power, everything. Everything is to Moses Itauma's advantage. But against Frank Sanchez, man, that Cuban style, slick boxing, he's got the power. If you want to box, you can box. If you want to have a scrap, he can have a scrap. He can fight you anyhow you want. This guy will present all type of dangers for Moses Itauma. And this fight, don't forget, my people, yeah, Frank Sanchez versus Moses Itauma was actually meant to happen earlier this year when the IBF ordered them to fight for the final eliminator. But, Frank Warren, Queensbury Promotions, Moses Itauma's team, they declined the fight. They swerved him. Some people might call it ducking. They didn't want to fight Frank Sanchez. At the time, there were reports coming out that, they were saying that, oh, maybe Moses Itauma is not quite ready for a Frank Sanchez. That's what they were saying. So he better be ready when it comes to fight Frank Sanchez. And I believe that the test that Moses Itauma will have against Filip Hrgović is actually a great preparation for him, to give him that experience against a world-class fighter, against a top 10 ranked fighter in Hrgović. He'll get that experience and take it into a fight against Frank Sanchez because he's going to need it. We know what Frank Sanchez does to all these prospects. I believe he's the one that actually beat Efe Ajagba as well. He was, yeah. He defeated Efe Ajagba as well. And at that time, Efe Ajagba was undefeated, and a lot of people were raving about Efe Ajagba, and Frank Sanchez outboxed him. He's that type of guy that he'll put a stop to the hype train, man. And Moses Itauma, if he does end up fighting against Frank Sanchez, it's gonna be one of those fights where he'll make Moses Itauma. Like, do you know what I mean? He's gonna be tested because Frank Sanchez can outbox him. That's just my opinion. I'm just keeping it real. I believe that Frank Sanchez is a better boxer than Moses Itauma overall as a package. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. But that's just my opinion. Yeah, Moses Itauma is gonna be in a ring against a better boxer, someone who's got power as well, someone who can take shots, yeah, and someone who can take him the distance, who have the stamina. Because Frank Sanchez is not washed up. He's not one of those fighters that has had wars in the past. He's not. Like the wear and tear on Frank Sanchez is not as bad as a Dillian Whyte or a Jermaine Franklin or maybe a Filip Hrgović. It's not that. He's still really healthy for someone his age at 33 years of age. He hasn't taken too much damage. So he'll be able to hang in there with Moses Itauma all the way through. So Itauma, what a challenge that will be against Frank Sanchez. And again, an opportunity to become a world champion at the age of 21, man. How many fighters can say they've done that? So this fight is very intriguing. I would love to watch it. You know what I mean? I really want to see it. But like I said, man, Moses Itauma does have to get past Filip Hrgović, which won't be easy. But I think like everyone in boxing is hoping that Moses Itauma gets through that. Because you know what? Yeah, we love the young prospects. We love the fighters that have the potential to carry the torch for boxing. You know what I mean? Become that next superstar, become that next pay-per-view star, because that grows the sport. You know what I mean? It brings in new eyeballs to the sport, the casuals, you know what I mean? It grows the sport. And you know, we all have hopes for Moses Itauma to rule the heavyweight division, dominate it for the next 10 years. You know, he's going to be up there for many, many more years. And some people are even saying, look, Moses Itauma might go out and repeat what Alexander Usyk has done and become undisputed champion, you know, in the heavyweight division. And I wouldn't put it past Moses Itauma because he's got that talent. You know, he's really that good. But to become that, you will have to face some dangerous shocks. And Frank Sanchez is one of those fighters that is a very dangerous, and he's gonna test you. He's gonna take Moses Itauma all the way. You know, there's not gonna be an easy route to a title. You know, if Team Itauma and Queensbury Promotions were thinking, yeah, we're gonna find a different way, maybe an easy way to win a title. Like, there is no easy way. Like, as soon as Alexander Usyk dropped them belts here, all the guys that are hungry won those belts. You know, Dubois got the WBO. Caballero's got the WBC. The IBF is going to be Frank Sanchez or Moses Itauma if he comes through Hrgovic, because if he doesn't, you know, if the upset was to happen and Hrgovic beats Moses Itauma, then it's going to be Hrgovic versus Frank Sanchez. You know, and the other belts, other people are going to scrap, the WBA, someone else is going to scrap for that as well. So, listen, there's opportunities in the heavyweight division that have opened up since Usyk vacated the titles, but also that presents more danger because now everyone's hungry to win those titles. And that includes Frank Sanchez. And I'm sure Frank Sanchez himself, he's got dreams and aspirations to become world champion. And he's going to look at Moses Itauma, is going to see him as another young prospect that everyone's hyping up about. And he's going to be motivated to put a stop to that hype train. That's going to be his motivation going into that fight. He's going to look at it, you know what, I have nothing to lose, man. Everyone's already hyping up about this kid Moses Itauma. You know, everyone thinks he's going to become the next best thing since sliced bread. Is the next Alexander Usyk. You know what, I'm going to go in there and show these guys, nah, not against me. You can do against someone else, but not against me. You know, so listen, man, that's the news anyway, man. The IBF have ordered Frank Sanchez versus Moses Itauma for the vacant title. Let me know what you guys think about this matchup, man. Can Moses Itauma overcome Frank Sanchez? Or will Frank Sanchez finally be that guy, yeah, that stops the hype train in Moses Itauma? Let me know, because these two guys were meant to fight early on in the year. But Moses Itauma didn't have the experience, apparently, you know, according to, you know, insiders. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, my people. I really appreciate it. Once again, thank you so much for watching EMGM Sports. It's me, your boy Enzo, the realest in the game. Please don't forget to smash the likes. And if you're new to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe. I'll be back real soon with another one. Until then, stay blessed, my people. Peace.